This is Daryl. He is a young pathogen looking to prove his worth by infecting a human brain. Daryl's first attempts were not so successful. Suddenly, Daryl discovers the perfect entrance to reach his target, a wound. He enters the bloodstream enthusiastically. But there's an obstacle ahead, the blood-brain barrier, aka BBB. But what is the blood-brain barrier? Let's start with an analogy. Just like a tea strainer keeps out tea grounds while letting in flavor, the BBB keeps out toxins and pathogens while letting in nutrients. The BBB is a selectively permeable, high-security membrane that lines the blood vessels in your brain. Unlike the other types of blood vessels, capillaries only have two layers, endothelial cells and the basal lamina. Tightly packed endothelial cells line the capillaries of the brain, forming the foundation of the high-security blood-brain barrier. Let's take a look at a blueprint of the BBB. Endothelial cells form the main structure of the blood vessels. They're connected by proteins called tight junctions, which hold the cells together like really strong glue. Surrounding the endothelial cells are cells called pericytes. Pericytes can constrict the blood vessel size if it senses something that's not supposed to be in the bloodstream. Additionally, the ends or end feet of cells called astrocytes provide structural support to the BBB. They also tell endothelial cells when to form tight junctions. Daryl's a little intimidated now, so he looks for ways to breach the barrier. He notices two special exits. Number 1, tight junctions. He spots lots of small molecules rushing past the tight junctions. Some are essential like O2 and CO2, others are fat-soluble like caffeine and alcohol. Number 2, transport proteins. He sees molecules like glucose hitching a ride on their fancy transport proteins, like LUT1. After observing, Daryl decides to try his own luck. He attempts to pass through the membrane. He makes it just about halfway when he's suddenly pulled back into the bloodstream by a seemingly invisible force. This is actually due to an efflux transporter. Its job is to herd stray molecules back to the bloodstream. Daryl eventually accepts his defeat. The blood-brain barrier has won this battle. Unfortunately, however, the BBB isn't always invincible. For example, in Alzheimer's patients, plaque forms in blood vessels, thereby impairing the BBB. This plaque is formed when a protein called beta amyloid clumps together. Two recent studies from MIT explain some of the mechanics. A gene variant called APOE4 triggers parasites to make excess APOE protein, which in turn causes beta amyloid proteins to clump together. As a result, the BBB becomes leaky. Thrombin, a clotting enzyme, is able to cross the barrier. Too much thrombin in the brain can harm neurons. The blood-brain barrier is vital for human survival. As scientists learn more about this mechanism, it'll open pathways to treat debilitating diseases like Alzheimer's.